Good. Welcome everyone back to Let's Play Banjo Kazooie. Welcoming you back to Grunty's lair specifically. And we're pretty much loading straight from the save file. And every time you do this, you start back at the entrance of Grunty's lair. Which, if you're later on in the game, might be rather inefficient. But we're still early on in the game, and the main reason I did that is because we need to stop back here with the Treasure Trove Cove, Clanker's Cavern painting room, because we gotta beat Buster the eyes of the grunty face on the floor, and by doing so, we get another Jiggy, number 4, matter of fact. Speaking of 4, you may remember that in episode 1, I managed to unlock the painting for Bubble Goop's Swamp, rather prematurely. And Bubble Goop's Swamp is actually level 4. So without further ado, let's just go straight for that, why don't we? That's how we're going to start this shindig, as it were. That note door, I think it was like 150 or something like that, is how much you need in order to pass by it. Let's take care of that grunt over there. And you'll note that there's a Jiggy behind bars over there in the gigantic looking grunty statue. But oh ho, there's a hole in the ceiling. We may be able to access that a little bit later, and why don't we head towards over here and see what we can discover? Why not? Because the main focus of this episode is going to be Bubble Loop Swamp, to be honest, and I'm not sure if we're going to have time to do another full level after that, but this note door, the requirement is only 260, and we have 300, so why don't we unlock it and see what's what, huh? So coming up here, we're actually in a pyramid desert-looking hub, and what you want to do is head over here and knock down this rock wall, because over here, I think we're going to run into a level 2 grunt. Alright, still kill them in one rat-a-tat-tat, as it were. Also, is it just me, or does this room have more lag in it than in the original N64 version? Probably no lag here on the Xbox Live version, but it's been a while since I've played that version. I haven't really had much of a need to do so, truth be told. And there's a Momo token behind this sarcophagus, so why don't we just take that, and now we have 15, which is about the right number you want to have for the foreseeable future. So behind this rock wall, we have some more eggs, and we have some boots. Interesting. So we're going to have to actually go to Bubble Goop Swamp to unlock that ability, funnily enough. I often forget that that's an ability you have to get at the swamp, because I'm so used to it being natural, like a natural part of the kit, as it were. And here we are in what I would call the spiderweb witch room, for the most part. And there's not much we can do here right now, unfortunately. There's this note door, but it requires 350. So we're just a little bit short on that, but we can knock down this spider web with 3 well-placed egg shots and talk to Dingpot, and yo and behold, we've completed a chain. And that's mainly why I wanted to come up here, so-called prematurely. There's also this spider web dart on the floor. You want to knock that down ahead of time as well. Again, we knocked down level 2 grunt. This is the entrance to level 5, which is very cold. And I'm sure we'll find out the name of it during this episode. I'm fairly certain about that much. Up here, we have a note door that requires 450. Wow, the requirements just keep going up and up. Speaking of going up and up, let's go up here and knock down this spider web. And there's another Dingpot down here. This one's blue. And this is actually going to be the first one in a new chain. And the second one we're not going to run into for, God, probably a very long time. But if we come up here, we see not just a few more eggs, which I would say collect at your own discretion. We aren't exactly super close to 100 eggs right now, are we? And let's see if we can climb further up the witch hat. Probably not. Let's go ahead and talk to Gruntilda once again. The disgusting Gruntilda has tadpoles on toast. That actually sounds like it could be a legitimate British breakfast or something like that. I'm sorry, I just, and then she usually has slug stew for dinner. I'm not even touching that, but maybe that could be a dish in Louisiana. Workbags then finishes with cockroaches and cream. Oh my god. Actually, I've heard of several countries finding cockroaches to be somewhat of a delicacy, so yeah, it's really funny about all that. Oh yeah, this is worth mentioning too. Later on in the game, particularly in the second half, these beehive enemies will start actually having bees hovering around them. I'm pretty sure we're good on health. We definitely are, so we're not going to break it apart. Thankfully, the bees will not bother you so long as you remember, not to destroy the beehive, as it were. So, whether we backtrack or we take the ding pot, it's still going to take about the same amount of time to get to the room where we need to go to actually be able to access Bubble Gloop Swamp proper. And hey, there's some eggs over here, so we're kind of killing two birds with one stone. Or would the expression be a bird and a bear with one stone? Yeah, I don't know, but we'll collect those eggs and we'll just kindly go up the steps here. So I guess I probably could have started the episode later and it would have come back around here, but it's really not that big of a deal, to be honest. Grunty's lair doesn't take that long to navigate. And now is actually a good time to bring up the fact that the music for Grunty's lair apparently is based on a classic song called The Teddy Bear's Picnic, or something like that. At any rate, we want to head left instead of right, because this is where we go to reach Bubble Gloop Swamp. And the Bubble Gloop Swamp hub is tied to being able to unlock the entrance to level 5, as it were. And we are going to need the wading boots, which is the ability we can learn in the swamp. So yeah, the swamp is pretty imperative to reaching the next level. And the next level is really closely connected with another one, so without further ado, oh yeah, and Grunty sometimes has funny quotes to say if you idle in the lair, as it were. Not sure if she does that otherwise, but without further ado, let's just roll right into the swamp. And keep an eye out for any Shreks out there, huh? You'll note, because you'll hear his theme song that starts with somebody. Alright, but anyway, let's just start killing this frog. And yeah, the Bottles Molehill is right over here. I'm not even kidding. It's really close to the entrance. They didn't try with this one. But I think another reason for it is because the wading boots are pretty important to traversing the swamp, because the water in the swamp is filled with hungry piranhas. And you don't want to mess with that much more than you have to. And another reason why I wanted to make sure I had a lot of eggs is because these guys over here, these golden crocodile-looking statues, you need to shoot, oh yeah, they're called croctuses, or is it crocti? I don't know. But I think there's like 5 or 6 of these guys, and you need to shoot eggs into each one of them, and you will get a Jiggy for that. Keep an eye out for these poles as well, as there will be stuff on top of them. Not a lot by the looks of it. And speaking of flight pads, I don't think there's gonna be too much flying going on in the swamp. It's more of a grounded type of level for the most part. Yeah, so we're using the wading boots for the first time. Sometimes the camera can be a little jerky, which is annoying, but I will say that it's still better than the Super Mario 64 camera, but that's also because the Super Mario 64 camera was one of the worst, one of the first 3D platformer cameras ever made. Although I guess because it's the first, it'll objectively be the worst, but actually, honestly, I have played some 3D platformers made after Super Mario 64 that may have had a worse camera. And there are a couple of infamously bad games, like this game called Rascal on the PS1, that also apparently had a very bad camera. So, it's a game I never played back in the day, but I did hear of it. So, yeah. So, from the platform with the Jiggy switch, we'll worry about that in a couple minutes as I try to adjust this camera. Let's head to the left over here. And just some more regular red frog enemies. I don't know what they're called exactly. Flibbits, I think. That's kind of a funny name because it's like ribbit and flip, because they do like a flip jump of sorts. Okay, so we could get the wading boots to go over to the other side with the egg more quickly. Matter of fact, I think we want to do this anyway because there's stuff in the water, and when there's stuff in the water, there's only 2 ways to access it in the swamp. One of them is the wading boots. The other way Actually, there's technically 3, I think, if you count the Wonder Wing, but since the Wonder Wing is a very limited supply, it doesn't exactly come recommended. So this egg has a shock spring pad next to it because, well, not only is there an extra life there, but we can ground pound the egg and then rat-a-tat-tap the egg and then jump back up the egg, as it were. Oh boy, that's a little hard to aim. Why don't we go Fasudo 2.5D camera over here? Try to get it that way, huh? Wait, why didn't that work? Hey, hold up. Yeah, that should have worked. This one we can just do the beak stab, and I didn't even get it right on the top there, but it still counted, so I'll take it. Yeah, that's going to be our first Jiggy for the swamp in the egg. Honestly, at this point, I could probably just jump to the pole, but, I mean, we could just do this too. And we'll grab this token on top of the pole, because even though we have enough for the next animal transformation, you still want to keep saving up. Because again, the cost goes up each time. And actually, I know it's been a long time coming for some of you, there is going to be an animal transformation in this level. But it's going to be towards the end of the level, not the episode, silly. The episode isn't going to end when we finish Bubble Gloop Swamp. God, you guys need to chill more often, I swear. Anyway, some musical notes here. We're going to focus on getting the Jiggy first. If you're doing a speed run, you want to try and get everything along the way, which there is quite a bit of, but, yeah, I mean, the time limit isn't that strict, but I just personally, well, I'll at least get the Jinjo over here. Yeah, we're already at 2 Jinjos, so you know it's not going to be a terribly long level. This level still takes longer to 100% than Clanker's Cavern or Treasure Trove Cove in my experience. Not by much, but if you notice the levels are getting slightly and slightly bigger every time, it's probably not just your imagination. And it's actually a very good design in that sense. It's all going to culminate, actually, in the penultimate, or rather the final regular level of the game, which is not only the largest level in the game, but it's one of the largest in the series. Because Banjo-Tooie has bigger levels on average, but the first level in Banjo-Tooie, I would say, isn't much bigger, if it's even bigger at all, than the final regular level of Banjo Kazooie, as it were, because, you know, they still wanted it to feel like a natural progression, even across games. Alright, so we should be good there. Let's try to jump back down to where the Jiggy Switch was, and, you may have already noticed some items laying around here randomly. Okay, this is where we're going to fight the yellow or the golden Flibbits, if I'm not mistaken. You can just do the rat-a-tat-tat, but these guys are pretty resilient. They actually take 2 rat-a-tat-tats, so that's kind of annoying. And they're always jumping around, so they are a little tricky to hit. Like, good lord, when am I going to hit this guy? Hello? Ah, bam, alright. Ooh. Okay. Let's bring out the Wonder Wing on these bad boys, because the Wonder Wing will instantly kill them. And there isn't that many of them, so I think I only used up 1 or 2 feathers for that. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah, the Wonder Wing really comes in clutch, I'm telling you. That's why in Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's the move in Smash Bros. Gives you, like, near invincibility, which is a little ridiculous. Okay, so we have a giant turtle over here. Oh, I'm sorry, if you watch my Spyro Let's Plays, a turtle, okay? And we have a giant crocodile over there. So, before we do any of that, I think we want to head over here first. And keep this area over here in mind, because we are going to have to come back for the items in the water, which we could try to get with the Wonder Wing or with wading boots from really far away. But here's the thing, the wading boots are actually on a time limit, as it were. Yeah, they're on a timer, so... We're only coming over here mostly for a Jiggy, I think a few musical notes, and also a witch switch. Probably one of the easier witch switches to find in the game, actually. It's kind of along the way to the Jiggy. So yeah, now we can actually get into that. And to do that, it actually involves the room above with the sarcophagus and the other desert aesthetics, as it were. Kinetic aesthetic. If you know that reference, you get a cookie. Because that's a pretty cool game series I just referenced right there. Got another Croctus over there with the red eyes. And red eyes, black Croctus. Nah, it doesn't have the same ring to it. But, God forbid this camera. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. I think there's only 2 or 3 more, but yeah, I seem to be picking a pretty good path this time, though. Just so you guys know, I'm not really practicing these levels ahead of time while I'm doing these, because I've played this game several times already, so I have a general layout already mapped out in my mind, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, we're already at 4 jiggies? Yeah, I would say that Bubble Glue Swamp is still not that long of a level. You know, for better or for worse. Mostly for the better. So now, you do kind of have 2 choices coming up here. Let me get this honeycomb just in case. Just give us a little top off. Man, that gold feather right there is so tempting, but you technically have to use some to get it. I know the area over here is pretty tempting too, because that giant crocodile looks enticing, but we are going to head over to where the giant turtle is, because we can get some notes here. I think there's going to be some items in the water. So let me rephrase that. Important items in the water. And this turtle, I'm not sure what his name is, but he's a pretty big tortoise. I will tell you that much. Can we tell him trot on his shell? Oh, there's the wading boots, actually. We can take advantage of these to get the orange ginger over here. And feel free to get some more eggs, but surprisingly, we're pretty conservative with the eggs, it seems. And actually, I think we want to just apparently this turtle's his feet are cold, so were you doing the ground pound on them to make them warmer somehow? We're going to grab that Jiggy, actually. Tank Top, okay. That's a pretty good name for a tortoise, Tank Top. Because, you know, their shells are hard, and it makes them tank-like in a way. They don't hit as hard as a tank, though. That's the thing. And there's your warning about the water having piranhas. I didn't mean to do that, but it seemed to work out. So we actually do want to head over here with the crocodile just for a quick visit to make this slightly more efficient because of how the crocodiles or the crocodises, how they spawn. It's a little bit pesky. Because I think the light blue one is over here. Yeah, there he is. So there were wading boots back there on top of the crocodile statue, but I'm not sure that's really necessary. Alright, now the purple-eyed one will be there. And this dragonfly. Man, the dragonfly's from the intro of the game. Okay. So we could try to jump these poles. And yeah, I guess we want to because, yeah. Ooh, golden feathers over there. Too tempting to pass up, I'm afraid. Let's get that. Don't mind the platform over there. We'll worry about that in about, 5 or 10 minutes or so. Right, let's keep pole jumping. I will say that Bubble Glue Swamp is probably in my top 3 of the levels in this game. Treasure Trove Cove is my favorite, but I also really like the swamp, to be honest. Oh, that's why there are wading boots on top of the crocodile, so we can get the musical notes. But we can actually get them more conveniently during the second half of the level. And there's only 1 ginger left, and we already know where it is. We saw it earlier. It's in the water. Again, we're going to knock that out when it's a little more convenient to do so. Okay, so I guess if you're doing efficiency, you do want to come here before you go see Tank Top. But what I did doesn't really waste that much time, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Alright, so let's continue to ignore the giant crocodile head for the most part. It will be important eventually, I assure you. And let's head back here and see if this might be the last crocodile that we have to take care of. It would be nice. It would be nice if this was the last one. Oh! That was a pretty nice maneuver I just did there. Alright, so the timing of this is a little weird. You kind of have to shoot the egg right before the mouth opens up. It's almost frame perfect. It's not a lot of frames that the mouth will stay open. Alright, and that's Jiggy number 6? Are you serious? And we're only 1 ginger away, so we're pretty close to 7 Jiggies as well. And here's a spoiler for you. You can actually head inside of Tank Top. Yeah, we've got a Monstro the Whale situation over here. It's kind of weird, to be honest. So let's head over here. There's going to be some musical notes. Not just for the sake of it, but check these guys out. Little turtles, little turtle babies with musical notes on the back of them. Ain't that adorable? Oh, and hey! If you remember from Diddy Kong Racing, there was a turtle named Tip Top. it turns out this is actually Tip Tup's choir, as it were. And there's a Mumbo token right there, of course. So I'm trying to get the extra honeycomb, but Tip Tup wants to interrupt me with his choir. So, pink, red, and blue. We gotta remember that order. Pink, red, and blue. Let's go through this dialogue. I want to try and get the extra honeycomb. Alright, what was the order? Pink, red, and blue? Hope I get this right. Yeah, so pink, red, and blue. And the light blue, for short, you can just say it's the cyan turtle. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I may need to concentrate, so if you see me going silent, that's going to be why. Red, yellow, pink, and then cyan and yellow, I think it was. No, I think it was yellow and cyan. Well, at least it gave me chances. I think I'm gonna state for this, just for safety's sake. Okay, pink, red, I think it was, red, blue, yellow? No. Maybe it was purple. No? Maybe it was pink? Let's go. And then yellow. And then purple? And then red? No, and then yellow. Was that it? Okay, that was it. Magnificent! A true masterpiece. Here, take this trigger. Yeah, I haven't really been doing the voice acting for this because, you know, the actual voices they do with the gibberish is pretty funny and charming. And I think I think the game Animal Crossing kind of references this, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, we're done with Tanked Up as well as the Tip Tup Choir. Got an extra honeycomb for our trouble. I'm actually trying to think of where the other extra honeycomb was. It's kind of escaping my memory right now, to be honest. I'm also running a little low on health, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue either. Alright, so let's head over here, head over here, head over here. Yeah. And we're going to head over here now because we're fixing to prepare to get into the second half of the swamp. Oh, there's a convenient beehive here with 3 honeycombs for us. So that should definitely go a long way. Oh, there's a dragonfly to give us more health, topping us off further. So what we've got here is something of a maze involving wading boots going through the water. I say a maze, but it isn't really all that maze-like, to be honest. So, yeah. So let's go through this and get the musical notes. And it takes a while, and the time limit can be a little tight, but it ain't too bad. And yeah, just keep going through here, collecting notes. There's actually a lot of notes here, even though you're only collecting one at a time. And we are actually nearing in on Mumbo's skull, which does mean it's going to be time for an animal transformation. Maybe the second extra honeycomb is in Mumbo's skull. That would be great. Okay, we've got another Jiggy switch over here, and we do want a save state for this. Believe me, you do. Because if you mess this up, or you fall, oh man, it's going to take forever and a day. Forever and a day to get back up here. Let me tell you that. But we get it with quite a bit of time to spare, actually. A lot of the difficulty of that challenge is trying to keep yourself balanced on the thin pathway. And some players might be tempted to use the Talon Trot to do that. Or speedrunners. And, I mean, they can pull it off, but trying to do it with the Talon Trot is a lot harder because of how shaky the controls can be with the Talon Trot's increased speed, as it were, which we're going to take advantage of. So there's another Mumbo token behind Mumbo's skull, and a gold feather. I actually want to see if there's more gold feathers down here. Probably not. So let's go ahead and go inside Mumbo's skull. A lot of times there are actually hidden collectibles to find here. You go behind his chair, bam, another Mumbo token. So I guess technically you only need 9 because there's going to be 1 behind his chair anyway. Oh, and look at that. The second extra honeycomb was right there all along. We still want to investigate the rest of the rafters whenever you go in Mumbo's skull in a world. There's only so many of these after all. So not only is there the extra honeycomb, but there's some red feathers. Again, Bubble Blue Swamp isn't heavy on the flight pad usage. So yeah, for 10 Mumbo tokens, we get to transform into a crocodile. Isn't that neat? I would say the crocodile is probably my favorite transformation in the game, to be honest. Not by a huge margin, but yeah, it's pretty nice to play as a croc. I'm not gonna lie. And you can bite, and sadly not much else. But what's interesting is that when you jump and bite, you have like a very brief gliding phase of sorts. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But the best thing about the croc is that the crocodile is completely immune to the piranha water. I kind of just wanted to go over there because of the draw distance. Sometimes you may not see something right away, but it is what it is. So these musical notes over here can now be collected easily. You don't have to worry about a time limit with the crocodile. It is nice that they still put the wading boots on top of the crocodile to give the player the option either way, though. So, I mean, it's no big deal, to be honest. We do want to go, you can actually go inside of the crocodile head when you are a crocodile, but we're actually going to try and save that, like, pretty much for last, because what you have to do inside the crocodile head can be pretty tough. It's the hardest challenge in this level. Probably one of the hardest challenges in the game, to be honest. Does it count as a boss fight, though? I will leave that up to your discretion. At any rate, now we can collect this gold feather that I was eyeing earlier, and that should bring us fairly close to the maximum, so that's pretty nice. But let's head over here. If you missed any items back there, like the orange Jinjo, you can of course get it with the crocodile too, so that's nice. And you can use your bite to speed up your movement just a tad, but spamming the button and hearing the same voice clip could kind of get on your nerves after a while, and yeah. There's 2 Mumbo tokens over here, so that's pretty nice. You're practically guaranteed to get those after you spend them too, so that comes in clutch. Oh, there are some wading boots here, so I guess we could have gotten these items earlier, but again, it's a lot more convenient to do it with the crocodile. I don't think too many people will argue against you for that. So that brings us up to 94 notes. That should be good. Let's go ahead and chomp on that dragonfly. What, you thought I wasn't going to try and do that? Please. Those dragonflies can be annoying. Let's collect the Jiggy. That brings us up to 9. That is perfect. There's only 1 Jiggy left and 6 musical notes, and I know exactly where they are. They're inside the crocodile head, as it were. What time are we at so far? Like 20 minutes? Yeah, 20.5 minutes. I called it. Alright, so yeah, let's head straight for the crocodile head. Kind of surprised that it might actually be around the same completion time as Treasure Trove and Clanker's Cavern, matter of fact. But this might rack up the video length at least, maybe not the in-game time. So enter one of the crocodile head's nostrils. Let's collect the 3 musical notes there, freebie Mumbo token here, and the last 3 notes over there. Let's let Bottle say his piece about, he found all 100 notes on the world. Well done. 15 Mumbo tokens is good. Let's go ahead and create, the obligatory save state. Okay. Let's get ready to meet an individual by the name... Actually, before we do that, let me see if I can grab this gold feather back here because, yeah, those are important. Say hello to Mr. Vile. You're a mean one, Mr. Vile. You're a greedy, scaly fiend. Your hunger knows no bounds, Mr. Vile. We've got to play 3 rounds where we have to eat more Yumblies than him. Starting with the red Yumblies. Alright, take 2 and let's try to actually get the Yumblies this time. I'm telling you, this game is hard. It's made a lot easier with the shoes in the background. That's because the shoes can speed you up. But you have to unlock the ability to use the shoes, which is a move you acquire in a much later level. And you have to complete Bubble Glue Swamp before you're able to actually learn that move. So it's a bit odd that they put that there. It's almost like they expect you to come back to do this challenge with the shoes, which I guess you could do, but man, that would be kind of tedious to do that now, wouldn't it? So let's go ahead and eat all of the Yumblies here, or at least try to, because man, this is difficult. And let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Come on, Yumblies. Yumbly in my tumbly. Wow, we barely beat that. Okay, now we want to create another state. Yes, you do. You see how close this is. You're a mean one, Mr. Vile. You just keep on coming. Alright, so round 2, you still gotta eat the red ones, but you also have to watch out for the yellow ones. If you eat those, you get stunned for a brief period, and you don't want that. What is mildly annoying is that sometimes when you try to eat the red Yumbly, the physics of the crocodile will knock you off course a little bit, so you might just be off of eating a Yumbly by frames. And it's kind of annoying when that happens. But, yeah. If you're trying to out-chase Mr. Vile, it might just be better if you go another direction to eat a Yumbly rather than trying to stay ahead of him all the time. But if it works out, then it works out, you know? And as far as I know, the spawning for the red Yumblies is pretty random. You kind of just have to get lucky with where you go. And yeah, if you just get 2 over here, and then 1 over there, and then 1 over there, and then 1 over here, and then 1 over here, and then 1 over there, and wow, we won by 4. I will say that the rounds get a little bit easier each time. Funnily enough. So here comes the last round, and this time, what you gotta do is you gotta pay attention to the top of the screen and eat the color that it says. And how often it switches, I don't know. I think it's like 10 or 15 seconds it'll switch. Yeah, something like 9 seconds by the looks of it. Okay. Hey, that should have counted for me, man. Okay, we definitely want a switch to happen right around now. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's a good payout right there. And should be another switch coming on. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what you really gotta wait for, is the switches to the different colors to happen. Especially when things look favorable for the other color. Like right now. They look very favorable for red, as it were. And yeah, actually spamming the bite button could be helpful. Unless you accidentally eat the wrong color and get stunned. Oh no! But here we go. Here we go. Let's try to... Oh, never mind. We won by 1. That's pretty cool. Alright, well, that could have gone a lot worse. We only had to redo the first round. So, no. We don't want to do the tougher challenge. No. Please, no. Oh, God, no. God, let's just grab the Jiggy and be done with it. Jeez Louise. Alright, let's get out of here already. Forget about it. Alright, so we are done with Bubble Glue Swamp. Let's double check our totals just to make sure. 100 notes, 10 Jiggies, and 2 extra honeycombs. Yeah, it's a few minutes longer than the other level, so yeah, it is longer, generally. Mostly because of the crocodile section, I would say. Like, if it didn't have the crocodile section, it'd be on par with the other levels. That's still a fine trade-off, I would say. So here's the interesting thing. Now, we're going to go back to the Bubble Glue Swamp Hub. And it really doesn't matter right now if you exit as Banjo or a crocodile, but we're going to exit as a crocodile just to show that you can. Because I think we're about to have some jump cut shenanigans. So let's head behind the hut. And, where the heck are the wading boots around here? First of all, we definitely need those. Like, wow. And let's head through the water over here with the crocodile, because the crocodile is immune to the water. Because, yeah, this still counts as piranha-infested water. annoyingly enough. Now, I think we can go ahead and do that painting over there. That will unlock the next level in the game. So let's go ahead and do that. The next level is Freezy Peak. And we are going to do some of the level in this episode. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll see in a little bit. But we are going to do a little bit of that level later on in this episode. For now, though, I want to point special attention up here. Since apparently this isn't necessary for 100%, but I still think it'd be cool to do. So there's this ice rock here, right? Well, what you want to do is you want to come back here as Banjo Kazooie, so let's jump cut to do that, why don't we? So come back here with Banjo Kazooie, and you can destroy the ice block rather easily. Unfortunately, they are unable to go through the hole. So now what you want to do is you want to go back to Bubbaloo Swamp the long way and turn into a crocodile, and well, we can thankfully just do that through the magic of editing. And we're back as the crocodile. I can see why the speedrunners don't bother to do this. Not only because of how extraneous that process is, but anyway, say hello to the magic flying book, Cheeto. Cheeto the spell book you have found, and he has a name that might make you crave Cheetos. And if you do, I do recommend the flaming hot variety. So Cheeto can be found in 3 specific locations hidden throughout Grunty's lair. The first one is found here in the mid-game, more or less, and the other 2 are much later on. By talking to Cheeto, he gives you cheats that you can input into the sandcastle in Treasure Trove Cove. Before we address that, though, what I want to do is, since I had to do a bunch of jump cuts, I may have skipped over some rather important details on how you get here with Banjo Kazooie and how you can get out. Since you're the crocodile, you're impervious to the water, but there are wading boots on top of here, on top of the exit. There's another quote from Grunty. I kind of half pay attention to that. To get through this water, you can actually find wading boots closer to the entrance of the hub here. But that's the thing, you have to unlock the wading boot ability first. So I probably could have just went in the level, grabbed the ability, and came back and did that. But yeah, either way, it's still kind of a tedious process to do. Alternatively, you could try to do the Wonder Wing, or just try to trudge through it and just eat the damage, since losing a life in Grunty's lair really doesn't matter that much, so that is a pretty viable strategy. But I figured I would show off the path of least resistance, as it were. Also, what a cheap enemy to do that, huh? But yeah, the wading boots in question are over here. And these ones actually last a pretty long time. I can confirm they do last all the way from there to the ice place. And we also head over here because here's another Brentilda location. Her fat old sister's favorite sport is broomstick racing. Well, that actually sounds kind of legitimate. Although she's dim, she attended Fat Hag High. Well, that rolls off the tongue. You won't believe that Gruntilda's party trick is blowing balloons up with her... Yeah, I'm not going to touch that with a 3-foot pole, man. Alright, so we are officially done with our business in the Bubbaloo Swamp Hub. Now let's head over here. And actually, before we go, why don't we jump cut straight to the sandcastle so we can do the blue eggs cheat. Alright, back at the sandcastle in Treasure Trove Cove, we entered the cheat blue eggs. B-L... Where's the U? Where is the U? There's the U. Here's the E. And then we put in the E again, I guess. It's pretty convenient that we could do that. And 2 G's over here. And then an S over here. And that will double our egg count to 200. With that many eggs, I don't think you'll have to worry about having a low amount of eggs for the rest of the playthrough. Which is pretty nice. Pretty nice, I must say. Alright, so let's jump cut back to where the hag statue is. Well, ain't that a sight for surprise? So yeah, here we are back over here. Now we can get that Jiggy, actually, which I do want to do. So let's head back up here like we did earlier on, and are you serious? They just really just blocked us like that? Good lord, man. Hey, these grunts, they're putting in some work for Gruntilda. Maybe she should consider giving them a promotion. Oh wait, she already did that. Anyway, so we want to try and get on the pad like this. Yes. And then we want to try and get in the vase. Or is it an urn or is it a vase? I don't know. Same difference. We want to get in here because this is how we get inside to the Jiggy. And I don't know if it was like the inside of the statue sliding you in there or the Jiggy itself that prevented the fall damage, but whatever it was, yeah, that comes in clutch. So glad we could get that out of the way, and now we can move forward. Like I said, we're not quite done with this episode yet. We're going to make one pit stop, actually, over where the icy part is. We're going to come back to this hub, though. Don't you worry about that. Let's head back up the steps here. And, yeah, let's try to worry about that. Jeez. Alright, so there's this note door over here in the mouth of the witch statue. We do have enough notes now. The requirement's 350 and we have 400. We're only coming in here for a pit stop, though. We're just coming in here to unlock, actually, there's two things we're going to do here. So first of all, this is a very fiery location, but it's got the painting for level 6, Gobi's Valley. Oh, isn't that a nice looking Banjo Sphinx over there at the pyramid? And Gobi's Valley, objectively speaking, might be one of the best levels in the game. One of them. And I think Gobi's Valley is also my favorite music track in the game, too. Which is saying a lot, because I like Treasure Trove Cove's music a lot, too. Alright, so there's another, like, area over there, but that's not going to be important. But that is where the second Cheeto is. So I will tell you that much. The second Cheeto is over there. How do you get there and get inside that hole? Well, it's relevant to this area right here. Welcome to the hub for level 7. And what the name of that level, I don't know when I'm going to be able to reveal that. It could be the next episode, or it could actually be the episode after. But you want to come in here just to destroy this gate with Banjo and Kazooie in their normal form. Because getting over to this house area over here is pretty important. And as you can see, regular enemies start taking like 2 attacks normally, but if you do the rat-a-tat-tat, it'll count as like 2 attacks in 1, which is pretty nice. Let's get this extra life just for the heck of it. Get the Talon Trot for the clutch. But I'm just pointing out all this out for you guys for future reference, okay? Same with all of the Brentildas, and there should be a Brentilda around here somewhere, either behind this house or behind one of the gravestones. There's a lot of gravestones here, so it kind of clues you in on the theme for this area for the most part. Seems like she's hiding over here, actually. Did you know Wartbags keeps a dragon's foot in her pocket for luck? Well, that actually sounds better than a rabbit's foot, to be honest, because a dragon is a mythical creature. She's seen her sister cuddling her dirty underwear. What? Who would do that? The next world is going to be the hardest yet. Somehow I doubt that. Anyway, she's really proud of her broomstick. It's a top-of-the-range super gut lifter, bro. Oh my god, dude. Alright, so we're gonna head out of this clown show, and let's get back to the area with the Gobi painting and all that. I guess I could do a mini jump cut here, but well, that's a funny glitch that just happened. It's a good thing I didn't decide the jump cut there. You see, I know what I'm doing with the jump cuts, I feel. When the jump cuts are appropriate to save a heck of a lot of time, let me tell you. So we're just going to Talon Trot all the way back over here, as we are coming to a close with this episode, but we want to make a pit stop. We're actually technically going to do Gobi's Valley as the next full completion next, even though it's level 6, but we're going to take a visit to level 5, Freeze's Peak first. And it's not to complete it. We're coming here mostly to learn the move, because yes, Freeze's Peak and Gobi's Valley each have one new move each to learn. And this is important to mention because in order to 100% one of the levels, you actually need the move from the other level. as it were. So, for this first visit, I would say don't worry about collecting the music notes. Worry about collecting the music notes the second time around. Say hello to Boggy the polar bear. He's kind of in distress. Hopefully we can address that. But again, this should be a fairly quick visit because we are not going to worry about musical notes for now. Let's head up here, I think. Or just, no, that's just going to be music notes. So let's head over here to the left to this, this present over here. And let's see what we can do to open this present. We could probably just do this, to be honest. Yeah, that worked. Alright, so these are the Twinklies. We gotta protect the Twinklies from the Twinkly Munchers. Yes, there are creatures that eat light bulbs. And if enough can get there, we can light the tree. Let's do a safety state here because, again, just to save time. So, let's go ahead and defeat that critter. I've seen a trick where you can just, like, wait right here. And the Twinklies can eventually get to their spot. Let's see if the count keeps going down, though. Okay, yeah, 9, 8... 7, 6, 5, yeah, the count's going down pretty consistently there. So there are supposed to be creatures spawning from the holes, but I don't know, man, this seems to be working pretty well. But, I don't know, maybe we actually have to try for this part. Or not. Apparently it just finished itself for us, so hey. That's a pretty good exploit for the Twinkly stuff right there for you guys. Alright, so let's head back here. Be mindful of this ice cube enemy, because it's fairly hidden. And, you know, for as much as I like the rat-a-tat-tap, its accuracy isn't perfect. I will say it is not perfect. Now let's crouch and shoot some eggs at the switch, because you want to make sure the switch is completely triggered. Alright, now while the star on the tree is lit up, it is important that we speed on over to a flight pad ASAP. And I mean it, because this is a very easy detail to overlook. Yeah, you want to get this flight pad. Don't worry about the Jinjos either, by the way, since some of them are hidden in locations where you're not really going to be able to get them if you're trying to do everything one go right now, which you can't do anyway because we need the move from Gobi's Valley. So, yeah, we'll worry about Jinjos and musical notes the second time around. For now, let's just worry about going through the tree 3 times to break the glass imprisonment on the inside of the tree. We're also down a few feathers, but that's not going to be too bad of a big deal. Alright, let's get over here, and let's jump. Oh, let's get this token. There is an animal transformation here in Freeze's Peak, but that is also something we will wait until the second visit to worry about. We're also going to grab this present, yoink, and say hello to the termites from Mumbo's Mountain. We haven't seen them in a hot minute. Not that it matters very much. Let's head on up over here, and the very top over here, let's collect a few eggs, get this Jiggy. When you collect a Jiggy, you never have to recollect the Jiggy again, thankfully. Unlike stuff like, say, the music notes and possibly the presents too, because there are 3 presents to find here in Freeze's Peak. So let's head down, and now we want to try and track down the other 2 presents, since that is something we can knock out now and not really have to worry about it later. But we also, like I said, fourth priority, let's head over here and learn the move from Bottles the Mole with the Plan, man. Alright, so this move is an add-on to the flight ability. It's the Beat Bomb, which is basically Banjo and Kazooie doing like a glorified kamikaze attack. It costs a few feathers to pull it off, or I think it only uses 1 red feather, which would actually be a bargain. And it basically charges you forward. And it's really tempting to actually do... That's actually how you defeat all these annoying snowman enemies. They're called Sir Slush, apparently. But I think we should save that for the second visit, because if you defeat all of the Sir Slushes, you'll get a Jiggy for it, but it makes sense to do that in the second visit. That way they'll still be dead during that second visit, and they won't harass you with snowballs. So we will save that for then. This is also Waza the Walrus. Again, this is also an issue that is best to be put off until the second time around, when we can actually take advantage of the animal transformation. which may or may not be relevant to Waza. I may have just given away. I realize I may have just given away the transformation right there, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so let's head back down here and try to jump over here to the middle. Mostly just musical notes here, but I think there's a Mumbo token. Yeah, there's one right there. Is there a Mumbo token on the other side as well? Wow, that is consistent. That is like an attention to detail that I can respect. Alright, let's over here, and here is the green present. Alright. Alright. So we only need one more present. Let's try to head on over here. And I would say this is the area we want to be. We want to head up the scarf. Again, don't worry about the musical notes too much. Do not worry about them in the slightest. And we're going to use the scarf to head up and up and up towards the snowman statue. The statue of the snowman. There's actually quite a bit going on here, believe it or not. Do a, like, sort of a shortcut there. Uh-oh. 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 Whoa! The ice-cold water broke my fall. Okay, so we're going to go with Plan B, actually. Which is just to fly to the top of the snowman, because, yeah, that doesn't seem like a bad idea at all. And, alley-oop! It's going to cost a lot of feathers to get up there, though. But, I guess before we do that, let's try out the new Beat Bomb, why not? So you need to hit these buttons on the snowman with the Beat Bomb, all three of them, and we get a Jiggy down there. But we'll worry about that. Actually, we might want to get that Jiggy now, matter of fact. I wonder if I can actually grab the Jiggy while I'm still flying, though. That would be pretty cool. Whoop! Ah! I was off by a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty efficient if you can actually grab the Jiggy while you're flying and then fly right back up, as it were. Man, these snowmen are annoying, but what we want to do now is we want to head back to the flight pad, and we want to try and fly to the very top of the snowman. If you don't want to burn your feathers quickly, just try to, like, press the button every so often. You'll still get ascension, as it were. But, yeah, let's defeat the ice cube, I think. Yeah, defeat the ice cube. There should be a Jiggy around here somewhere. So I thought there'd be, but apparently it's just music notes. So let's not worry about that too much. Let's head down here to the rim of the hat. And then down here is where we can find the blue present. And there's another flight pad right there, so that's pretty convenient. But if we head to the pipe, there's a Jiggy in here. So this should be Jiggy number 3. That's pretty good. And now that we have all 3 presents, we can also take a ride on this sled. Because by doing so, well, not only do we get a freebie Mumbo token, but we also help out Boggy. It turns out our old pal Boggy swallowed a Jiggy, and that's what was making him sick to his stomach, and then he couldn't move. Poor guy. Poor guy, indeed. Well, glad we could take care of that and take this Jiggy off his hands, or his stomach, as it were. Which brings us to 4 Jiggies. And funnily enough, we can go back up here and take care of the presents, and that'll get us to 5 Jiggies, so that'll get us halfway through the Jiggy count. So when we come back to Freezezy Peak, yeah, it should be a clean sweep. So Banjo is going to play Santa Claus here and bring 3 presents to the 3 little polar bears. They're actually Boggy's children. And I assume the reason that he couldn't get the presents is because he swallowed a Jiggy and got sick. Poor guy. So now we've taken care of all of the stuff with the polar bears for now. But who knows? Maybe when we return next time on Let's Play Banjo Kazooie, we'll finish off our business in Freezezy Peak. But before we do that, we need to head on over to Gobi's Valley. And we are going to end the episode right where the entrance to Gobi's Valley is, just so you guys know for future reference, as it were. So yeah, you could just say it's a little bit of convenience, a little bit of the grazie, the gratitude from me to you. So yeah, we don't have to go too far for the Gobi's Valley entrance. It's going to be right over here. And I think the witch switch in Gobi's Valley unlocks this sarcophagus. So I think there's a Jiggy in there because of that. And obviously the shock spring pad is helpful for that. So let's head on over here and grab the wading boots, because the sand surrounding the entrance will hurt you. And at least that makes sense. Although I guess the piranha-infested water makes sense as well, so it is what it is there. I'm also going to check to see if there's a Brentilda behind the entrance. It's probably a safe bet. Huh. Didn't I call it or didn't I call it? So, Grunty's best friend at witch school was the awful Saggy Maggie. Oh my god. Saggy in what way? When relaxing, she usually reads Big Butts and Guts. Wow. While sipping a glass of her favorite smoothie elephant sweat. Oh, that's an add-on. That's a heck of an add-on there. At any rate, this is the entrance to Gobi's Valley, everyone. Let's get a good look at that. Nice little palm tree of sorts. And next time on Let's Play Banjo Kazooie, we'll be taking care of Gobi's Valley and finishing off our business in Freezy Peak. So, until then guys, take care.